Hello, friends and neighbors. Welcome to episode 11 of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We're here at the underground recording studio located on the other side of the tracks. But don't worry, we have producer Grammy watching the front door. And as always, we have the greatest captain in FC Storm history, Benny. How you doing, brother?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. We had a pretty good weekend here in Winnipeg. You know, there was a football game, I think, on the weekend that turned out to be not too bad.
What happened? What happened on the weekend?
There was a football game on the weekend.
Football. Oh,
yeah.
What happened?
You know what? The Bombers ended up winning the Grey Cup.
Woo-woo! Bombers won the Grey Cup. Friends and neighbors, we're still excited. I'm going to cheers you right here. Don't worry. It's Schweppes Canadian Dry, but cheers to all you Bombers fans. We're back-to-back champions. And that was the whole weekend for me, bro. That was a whole weekend. Grey Cup weekend, and I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely ended up being a great game. Started off slow once again for the Bombers, but you know, when the fourth quarter rolls around, Bombers are like, okay, we're gonna stop messing around here again. We're gonna put an end to this thing, and they came out rolling in that fourth quarter. But yeah, there was some dire moments in that game. It's probably said a few times, "Oh, this is over. We're done. This is it. What the hell are they doing? Why is he throwing interceptions?" You know, but like I always say, the CFL, it's never over until it's over. And it was definitely an interesting game ending.
Absolutely.
And everything.
It felt like I was in the men's washroom again, fourth quarter, quarter, and I was ready to go. We're going to get into detail about this game and how the Bombers looked and how challenging this game was. We're also going to talk about NHL. We're going to talk about our Winnipeg Jets, and we're going to talk about the NFL. Everything went A-okay. No real surprises in the NFL this weekend. But let's get back into what really matters. Back-to-back champs in Winnipeg. Year off from the pandemic. What a game it was. What a show it was. Props to Hamilton before we get into the game. Raving reviews from the fans who were there. Halftime show was great. The environment of the game was hyped up. So props to Hamilton. Great hosts. They deserve to have it again in a couple of years with the full show. Everyone ready to go. So I can't wait. I hope to be there.
Next year for the three-peat, it's in Saskatchewan. That's a little drive. Maybe we can make that one out there, right?
Yeah, we made that drive a couple of times. I'm sure I can do it again if you ask me,
one more
bro.
time.
I'll do it again. Cheers to you. But let's talk about this Grey Cup. Let's just talk about it, bro. Tell me, what are your thoughts? We'll jam. What an incredible feeling it was. I hope you were with your family. I was with my family. That's the great thing about Grey Cup. It's family time. We get to enjoy the game together and the great Canadian drunk. But, man, how about our boys? What are your thoughts on that game? Let's rap about this Grey Cup.
Like you said, one of the good things, or not, I guess it was a good thing, was the crowd was into it. And I think it would help that Hamilton actually was keeping that. I mean, they were in front. They were keeping the game close. And the crowd was roaring, right, when it was 22-10. So, yeah, it's definitely, you know, it was driving me crazy seeing that because I was like, come on, shut this crowd up kind of thing. But, you know, it was the biggest play, or the game started off huge with the Bombers winning that coin toss. You know, then getting to defer and pick that win in the fourth quarter because
100%.
As you saw, it came in handy having that win and knowing full well that they had that win. And if the game was close or if they were ahead even, chances are Hamilton wasn't coming back or going to be able to pull that off. So that was the first huge play. Like we said, the first quarter, you know, the Bombers got a few field goals, you know, with the win. Couldn't really do so much. Props to Sergio Castillo for going 5 for 5.
Defense was looking good at the beginning of the game. It was looking good.
Yeah, the D wasn't letting Hamilton go, and I think it would have benefited the Bombers more if Dane Evans didn't end up getting hurt because he was struggling already early. Even his interception, like you could just see it. Like if you watch a replay, Willie Jefferson seems like he's in the air forever, you know, and his hands are up there, and it's like Dane Evans still threw the ball into his hand. It's like, what are you doing?
Didn't he have like 3 or 4 batted balls like in the first quarter or first 2 quarters? He had 2 or 3, 4 batted balls.
That wingspan is just crazy.
It was amazing, eh? And the thing is, they did have a game plan against Dane Evans. And you can see that when Mazzoli came in, there was a bit of a hard time adjusting to that. That mobility shook up the line a bit. He wasn't contained. He wasn't a standing target for them, and he gave him trouble. And with him running around and stuff, it opened a lot of routes for second and third receivers. So Mazzoli was looking a bit scary, bro. When he came in, he was looking scary till the end of the game, to be honest with you.
He did change it up and add a different dimension. The one thing is he was moving the ball, but again, I mean, they weren't putting up the points anyways, right?
Absolutely.
Even when the Bombers gave up that safety, and Hamilton had it way in our zone, like what did they return that kick back to our 40 or 45? And they settled only for a field goal there, right? They could have put that game possibly away there or more out of reach. But again, the D stood tall no matter what. Mazzoli was moving the ball a little bit better than Evans, but they still weren't punching those in for touchdowns. And the D just showed, hey, go ahead, move that ball, but we're going to stop you when it counts. So, it was just a great game. And then you had that fourth quarter, another big play talked about is that freaking rouge that
that's the rouge. That's going to be a thing now in Hamilton. The rouge.
Yeah,
that's totally going to be a thing that's going to haunt the team for years and years and years. When I go to Hamilton, I'm going to have a sign that says the rouge because that's going to wreck them up, man. That's going to wreck them up.
You need even a T-shirt or something there just to walk around in there, right?
I'm going to just all in red with black paint on my face. Rouge.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's going to haunt them for a while, bro. I still don't understand. I don't know if I haven't read any articles or seen a coach's response. I know Steinhauer was on a press conference today saying that he hasn't been offered a job in Washington State,
right?
Which is great for Hamilton. But I don't know if that was a decision by the coaches to say, take that knee and give them the point and, try and get to the field and tie it with a field goal. Or was it one of those things where was it the regular kick returner? Because
not the one
out.
Not the one that started the game as kick returner. I think that guy ended up getting hurt a bit. But from what I read today, Steinhauer left it into the returner's hands there, letting him decide, where the ball ended up. Decide from there if you're going to take it out or not. He said he's okay with the decision. O'Shea said it was the right decision as well, but
I heard him on the coaches say that as well.
He's a little biased on that one, I would think, but so maybe they're okay with it. But I think Steinhauer's got to look at it and go, you were a yard or two deep in the end zone, man. Return that
3 blockers in front of them, 15 yards of green.
Going to take 10 seconds, but I'd like to think though differently that the Bombers D would have played that whole sequence differently, knowing. If they gave up a field goal, they lose the game, right? If they're only up 2,
absolutely.
I think different things end up happening, possibly on that drive, and the Bombers and Hamilton doesn't end up driving it, or maybe they get close, but they're still 40 yards away, kicking into the wind, right? Mm-hmm. So you can play that what if game, and we saw it.
Changing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. The Bombers took an OT, scored a TD, scored the 2-pointer. And then that interception at the end of the game there.
Beautiful.
Dietrich Nichols to Winston Rose to Kyrie Wilson. Man, basically, it's like
nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication. He was there. I'm in the right spot. We got this locked down. Game over.
Yeah, they had three guys in that one area, right?
Yeah. I got to give props to the Hamilton. Got to give props to the Hamilton coaches. They did an incredible job. I remember Steinhauer saying that the one thing that was not going to happen was them being out physical, and they matched the Bombers toe to toe physically. We talked about factors in the game. We talked about the battle of the trenches. Hamilton looked good in the trenches, and they were winning that battle debating without Ted Laurent, which is a roster shaker. When a Canadian like that is out and you have to make replacements, it didn't seem to affect them at all. So props to Mark Washington, their defensive coordinator, for obviously having a plan to shut down Andrew Harris, and props to their offensive coordinator for making transition with Mazzoli. I don't know how many offensive coordinators can do that in a championship game. Change your quarterback. It got better.
Yeah, I think we texted a few times early that our O-line was getting beaten up, right?
Yeah.
Barros was taking hits. Barros was having no time really to get anything going. Harris wasn't able to run the ball. But,
not at all.
I don't know if that pounding, though, ended up working in our favor later because, right, Harris started moving that ball in the fourth quarter like they usually do, right? So maybe it was enough just to wear Hamilton down. And then you get those first points in that first quarter, and I think it starts to put some doubt into Hamilton's mind, right? It's like they drove down, they scored a touchdown, no problem. It's like, oh no, right? And then, and then they drove down afterwards for a field goal and stuff. And I think it just psychologically started getting to Hamilton. And then in OT, it's not like that. Hamilton D didn't even put up much of a fight in there, right?
Collaros had time. West receivers were wide open. I loved it when I was watching the game. The momentum shift that I saw was when the reporters were on each sideline and they were calling each team out. Hamilton's like, they look panicked. They haven't looked this panicked like this in the season. And then Bombers are all of a sudden full of confidence and talking, and they're up off the bench. And I was like, yeah, this for sure is changing. And to see that momentum shift, and you kind of knew, our boys are going to take it. It's a good
changed a few times though, eh? Like that third down stop by the Bomber D. How often does that you ever really stop a CFL team on a 3rd and 1 or second and short? The play calling there was awful. Like the second and short call was bad. And then when they stopped them, you're thinking, okay, this is the Bombers. They're going to take over. We're going to score. And then it's like bad Collaros came out, threw an interception, then threw another interception.
Drives you wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And you're thinking, it's like, what the hell? I was ready to celebrate that we were going to, take this game over. And then all of a sudden he throws those picks, which is uncharacteristic of him. I know last week was different, but, like all season, he's been pretty steady. The offense hasn't been, like lights out or anything, but Collaros has been usually pretty steady, right?
Yeah.
So, and then to see him do that, and even late in the game there, that pass to Lawler in the end zone, that Lawler got the pass interference on, right? And you're sitting there going, that ball is going to be picked. And then you just see Lawler yank the guy back. And it's like, whew, that was another play that possibly saved that game for us, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was just a lot of momentum shifts, like you say. And having a kicker that could hit field goals and having that confidence in the guy helped lots.
Special teams, man. We talked about special teams last week being a huge factor. Guy went 5 for 5. He kept the team in the game. How many? 17, 18 points altogether.
Yeah.
He got kickoffs into the end zone to get the Rouges.
True MVP.
There's absolutely an argument that he, obviously the CFL is like, and then whoever votes, the media, I don't know, we can't give it to a kicker. We can't give it to a kicker. Screw that, man. Quarterback,
always, right?
Yeah. It's like once Bob Cameron can win as a punter for the best Canadian, you gotta just give it to the kicker already for keeping them in the game and going perfect.
Exactly. 5 for 5, man. Plus those Rouges, like you said, and extra points were all good. So they had a great game. So
what an amazing game.
But back to back, man. First time Bombers in 59 years.
Yeah. I did not get to Portage and Maine this week, and tomorrow night's the big party at the stadium. It's going to be rocking. And this city is going to be rocking.
It should be a nice day out tomorrow too. So, not like that West final. So it's a little bit easier to probably go down there and celebrate.
Still worth it. My throat did not heal before Grey Cup from that West final. And here we are. Here we are. Yeah, I'm going to be celebrating this for a while.
There's so many different. I mean, a few seasons ago, probably 3 or 4 seasons ago, we were probably calling for Coach O'Shea's head. He's not going to do it. He's not going to get it done. Not in the last few seasons, like longer.
Not me.
Well, there was a few
my hand right now,
where
Nation. I never said.
I probably said it a few times. There was times where it doesn't look like they were ever going to turn that corner there.
That's true.
And then it's starting to get frustrated, right, again, because we're already. I know it's not his fault, but we're already 20 plus years into that drought, and so it's like, come on, guys, just get it done.
Yeah.
And thankfully they never did fire him. They never wavered from their plan. Between Wade Miller and Kyle Walters and Michael Shea, they put a great. Even Richie Hall, we probably wanted him gone 3 seasons ago. That D was
for
something
sure.
else. It was like, what the hell are you playing? Why is everyone always 10 yards off the ball? But it's great to see them come back and put back-to-back seasons. And just the team in general, the way they seem to, like Collaros said, he's sitting there and he's just looking around thinking, I love these guys. Like, that's the type of team. It's like they knew that they had each other's backs.
Yeah.
If one guy maybe messed up, he knew the guy behind him was going to be there to help him out. Or he knew, hey, I just got to do my job because that guy back there or the guy to the right of me is going to do his job. and we're going to get it done.
Didn't that remind you of the James West interview?
Yeah.
Of the brotherhood he talked about.
Exactly,
on the 80s teams. Hey, check out James West interview out, folks, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, go to YouTube, check out our channel. Make sure you check out James West and James Murphy. But it's exactly what he was talking about, the brotherhood and the love for the team.
Exactly.
And you can feel that. You can feel it, Jefferson, everyone saying, I love you. Dembski, I love those boys. It was always about team and love and brotherhood and family.
So they knew that's why they knew when they were down, they could always come back because they could count on each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's great to see, and hopefully they can keep most of this team together. It'll be interesting to see what goes on this offseason. So
yeah, and they've built this thing properly from the ground up. Canadian content. Wade Miller, Winnipeg boy, connected to the Bomber past. Kyle Walters, appreciated through the league. Michael Shea, CFL Hall of Famer, appreciates Canadian talent and what it takes to be a winner. Daryl Patterson, a coach that Willard Reeves was talking about. The lineage bringing back the 80s Bombers culture back into the locker room. This is deeper than just a great team, man. This is a great culture that they've built in Winnipeg. And we have so many more years to come of great football. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm not going to throw around a word that's associated with lots of championships, but it's in the air. It's in the air. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get to that status.
We've been waiting a long time, bro.
And
it's one of those things, not just, what they built and the fact that they've went through a pandemic and came back and they're stronger. Oh, Bomber fans, you have reason to be excited, and I'll be partying with you for the next 12 months until next Grey Cup. This will be exciting. Let's talk about our other Winnipeg team. And don't worry, we're going to come back with the CFL and talk about what's coming up in the off-season, possible changes, rule changes that these fools are talking about. We'll get to that in an upcoming show. But let's move on to our Winnipeg Jets, how the last week went, how the next week is coming. Since we last met, the Winnipeg Jets lost that game against a tough Carolina team. They beat a Kraken team. They shut them out. And then they played a surging Canucks team, and we might have lost our captain long term. What are your thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets, how things look, and the possible long-term loss of Blake Wheeler?
Yeah, I know we've been on Wheeler pretty hard, but it still sucks to end up losing him. And we don't know yet how long it's going to be, at least a few weeks for sure. And then they're still waiting on the swelling and his need to go down before we know for sure. So, we could have gone 3-0 last week. It still would have been dampened by the fact that, you end up losing your captain in one of those games. Whatever we say about Wheeler, he's still one of the better, top 9 or wherever to add to that team. And he finally scored a goal too against Vancouver. It sucks. And then it sucks to see him go down. So, to me, I know Vancouver had a new coach. You got Bruce Boudreau in there. They're feeling it. They're playing a little high, but that's now 2 losses that the Jets have given up to the Canucks so far this year. And it's like, are those points going to come back to haunt them, or the lack of those points going to come back to haunt them later on in the season? And you look at, those are 2 big games. We lost to Arizona, and they were kind of outplayed against Carolina last week. And again, the penalty kill, again, if you give up penalties against good teams, they're going to make you pay. And Carolina scored 2 power play goals in that game. They're going to struggle against these good teams if they're sitting in a penalty box.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I went to look back because I watched another shootout there against Vancouver and they didn't score. And I was trying to think when the last time they actually scored in a shootout. That's the 3rd shootout in a row that they actually have not scored even 1 goal on there. And it's just like, what the heck, was
Ehlers shooting?
No, Ehlers had a breakaway in overtime. He did. Stopped. Ehlers and breakaways just don't mix, and I think that's why he's never on the shootouts, right?
Well, maybe it's different when you don't have a defenseman chasing you, and you can just concentrate on putting it in the net.
He had lots of time on this breakaway. Like, he had enough time to look back, see that no one was around him, and take his time, and he still couldn't put it in the net. So it was almost like a shootout opportunity.
About Wheeler, like Maurice did say, it's non-surgical at the moment. Again, they're still waiting for complete swelling to go down. It's possibly a rehab injury, but still, I don't know what that means. This guy could be out for weeks and weeks leading into the Olympic break and coming out of it. So who knows what Maurice will do? Obviously, he couldn't call up someone from the Moose organization because of COVID, and we'll get into COVID because it seems to be creeping up on all professional leagues at the moment. Never mind globally, or as well as globally. Never mind. Yeah. So tonight we have Bolio on the fourth line. I believe Kopp is on the first. I wasn't able to check it in before they started the game.
Kopp is with Scheifele and Connor. So.
So it's interesting going into the next week what they're going to do, how they're going to mess with the lineups, how they're going to move forward with their captain, because he was getting hot. Last when we spoke, he had like 5 assists, 5 points in 2 games, and then, like you said, in Vancouver, he scored a goal, and physically he was being a factor, getting into those corners, hitting people. So it is unfortunate that we're losing a force like that on the ice, and hopefully, optimism though, they were pretty good. He was gone the first time around with COVID.
They did, but they are losing tonight to Buffalo, so we'll see what ends up happening in that one. Like you said, it'll be interesting to see. I think once the COVID situation with the Moose clears up, that they'll call up David Gustafsson. And Cole Perfetti was loaned out to Team Canada for the World Juniors, so he's not an option right now. So after that would be done. So I would assume that Gustafsson, once it's all cleared up and Wheeler's placed on the IR, would probably get called up to play some minutes there, because you can't roll with 11 forwards and 7D for too long, especially when Bolio is one of them. So I know it worked before and worked a bit earlier in the season, but that's going to tire out your forwards pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what Maurice does. His line changes and stuff are an unexplained science. That brother.
They usually work out better when someone gets injured, though.
Well, there you go. So more optimism. Hooray. And Pionki's back in the lineup today. And he's been pretty contrite about that injury. He had a bit of an apology in regards to Sandin. So I still think it's going to be heated.
Toronto fans still hate him, right? He only had suspended for 2 games, went out for concussion protocol for 2 games. So they're crying about that right now.
Yeah, your guy kind of missiled into one of our players' heads. So shut up.
Yeah,
shut up.
A little bit different.
Oh, man, I could talk
about
later on.
Big games coming up this week. Tough games besides tonight. They got Washington, St. Louis, and Nashville. Nashville next Tuesday, but
2 conference games.
That's a tough stretch. Yeah, no, St. Louis and Nashville are 2 teams that they're actually chasing.
Yeah,
I'm surprised by Nashville this year.
It is getting. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So like you were about to say, the Central is it's competitive again. I thought this year would be a bit of a down year, and maybe the Jets can ease through the season and get into the playoffs easier this year. But man, that Central is never easy.
No, it's always a war. It's always a grind. It's a fun division to watch, not necessarily a fun division to be in at times.
No,
but it's always an interesting division.
Yeah.
You talked about Maurice and COVID, Calgary and COVID. They're missing some games coming up. Thoughts about that? It's getting more and more of an issue. New variant, traveling, Olympics coming up. What are your thoughts on Calgary, COVID, postponing games?
Mini and Minnesota Wild and the Carolina Hurricanes was also postponed tonight. As Carolina, I think, had 3 or 4 when they left. I think they were in Vancouver. They were leaving there, so those players had to stay there. They flew into Mini, and now I think another 3 or 4 players ended up getting it as well. So that game got postponed for tonight. So
crazy.
Yeah, it's starting to run rampant, and it's going through the NHL. It's going through the NFL. Like it's not missing any of these leagues.
The NBA. The Nets are with an 8-man roster tonight.
Yeah. So like the amount of players that were listed today in the NFL, I'm like, oh, some teams, luckily, like the Jets so far, knock on wood here, haven't got hit, and hopefully, they could stay away from it. But you talk about the Olympics, and I was just reading something about Connor McDavid today, thinking about it, and it's like now you got all these players questioning if it's a good idea, because apparently if you go there, you get it, you have to stay there for possibly 3 to 5 weeks in quarantine there in China before you can come back.
Is that worth it?
Yeah, then that's what Connor McDavid was basically saying. Yeah.
Like, bro, like
No.
what episode was that when we were talking about how stupid it is, this Olympic, aside from, it has nothing to do with the Olympic ideals. It has nothing to do with growing the NHL brand globally. It's just the IOC and being greedy, trying to make money off sponsorship. That's stupid alone. But the fact that you're sending all these people from around the world to one country to sweat and breathe all over each other when it's already rampant in these leagues is absolutely stupid, right?
Yeah.
You're coming
totally
back
agree.
from having time off. You want to make this revenue back. Like you said earlier today, bro, thank God the CFL just got in under the wire.
Yeah.
Just got in under the wire. So I don't know why they're even questioning going there. Like, for your own safety alone, don't go. And for the safety of the game and proceeding and finishing the season, don't go.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing anyone that can tell me that'll convince me different about these stupid Olympics, man.
Especially if you want to get these leagues done, if the NHL wants to get done, like, don't mess around. Play your season. There'll be other Olympics at another time for these guys to go to, right?
Absolutely.
There's no need for it really right now. I agree. I would just kibosh the whole freaking thing and that's it. But it's all about the money.
How are the owners behind this? How are the owners behind this? This makes absolutely no sense. It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know how much the owners are really behind it. If players pushed it quite a bit, and now we'll see. Maybe now the players are going to change their mind, seeing what's going on. So,
man, the stupidity of this is mind blowing. It's mind blowing. That's the money. Oh, who was that? Nelly?
Yeah.
And I'm back on the dance floor at Zach's on Jefferson's. Let's talk about the Canadian power rankings. Oh, that's old. 1996.
That is old, man.
Let's talk about the Canadian power rankings in the NHL. We're going to go from 4 to 1. Let's go back and forth. You start off. Who do you got on 4, bro?
I could probably flip-flop these two, but right now I'm going to put Winnipeg at number 4.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. What do you got them higher than that?
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. I'm surprising you this week. I got Calgary at number 4. I was going to flip-flop them with Edmonton. You got one team on a 4-game losing streak. You got another team on a 5-game losing streak. Edmonton is showing they have no depth. They don't have solid goaltending, so they're not even in the top 4. So Calgary, I think it's easier for them to get on track with Markstrom as their goalie. Thank you. Yeah. And I think they're just a better-rounded team. So that's why I took them over Edmonton at 4. I'm going to surprise you this week, bro. Who do you got at 3?
Well, then that's where we go with the Oilers at number 3 there. And part of that reasoning is, like you said, the goaltending is starting to struggle. They've had a few guys that have been off, injured, and then their power play isn't as potent as it once was. Like, you're not hearing McDavid or Draisaitl's name or how many points they got last night as much as you were 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I put them at 3 right now, just because the Jets haven't been able to really put much together besides a win or 2 here and there kind of thing. So, yeah,
I agree. That's true. Man, I got the Vancouver Canucks at number 3. Yeah, it's a surprise they're there. They're on a good 4-game winning streak. I really like that goalie, Thatcher Demko. He's really coming to his own. And I think what Boudreau has done with this team, not only fired them up, but he's proven that there is talent on this team. And he's kind of proven how bad Green was as a coach. So I know, surprisingly, but I'm putting him at number 3. Who do you got at 2?
Yeah, you're going to anger any of our Oiler fans who are listening to this podcast. That's going to be an interesting. Let's hear your comments there, Oiler fans. Let's hear what you have to say about Ray's rankings.
Be nice, nothing personal. Just talk about hockey. Be nice.
Exactly. Be
now.
Nice. Yeah.
Who do you got? Who do you got?
Number 2, I'm still putting in the Calgary Flames right now. And again, like you said, Markstrom, if Markstrom's off, they suffer a little bit as well, right? I mean, it's like the Jets too. If Hellebuck sucked, the Jets are going to suffer. And all these teams, goaltending, well, for the Jets and Calgary, goaltending seems to be a big part of their success. The Oilers have the goal scoring, and their goalie should be just good enough, right? True. But when he's bad too, they're messed up. So Calgary right now will be sitting at number 2 for me.
All right, I got the Toronto Maple Leafs at number 2.
Oh,
you know who I got at number 1. Woo! At number 2, I can. But the reason why I'll go 2-1 so I can explain it. Toronto's still a very strong team points wise. They're definitely better than the Jets in their division. Toronto's coming off a lot of injuries. They have their defense coming back a bit with Travis Dermott, and they did lose Hyman in that Carolina game, so that can hurt. And the only reason I'm putting Winnipeg over them is that 6-3 win is still fresh, and how they out-physicaled that team. And I'm just going to go by that head-to-head matchup almost alone to put the Jets at number one. And to be honest with you, Jets are number one also because the Canadian teams aren't playing well right now. So, yeah, bro, I went on long enough. Toronto 2, Winnipeg 1.
You might be able to guess my one is sitting right now is Toronto. I get it about that game against Jets. If the Jets had won 6-3 with Jack Campbell in net, then I would have probably put more emphasis on that game and said, hey, the Jets showed really good. They beat the Toronto number one goaltender and that, but right now for me, Toronto's still number one. They have struggled over the last few games for sure after going 9-1 or whatever they were there. So we'll see over the next couple of weeks what happens with them. But Toronto and Edmonton tonight, so we'll see. It's a good matchup.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to say about Toronto, man? They are who we thought they were. 4 goals a game in 4 of the last 4 games, man. They're just up and down. I don't know. I'm still going to stick with that. Great rankings, though. That was good. I like them rankings. Let's go into some NFL action. What a weird week in the NFL, only because everything almost went as planned or as people thought. Yes, of course, when I stopped playing that stupid pools game on Sports Select, look what happens. Because I was getting fed up. But what do you think of this week, bro? Like, everything went well, except for the Steelers game. But go ahead.
What game?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird week because everything went to plan instead of everything going to shit, basically, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The good teams, beat the bad teams, and then not only did they beat them, they blew them out, right? There wasn't too many close games at all, like there's been over the last few weeks, and those good teams finally showed these bad teams just how bad they are. So to me, nothing really stood out. The Tampa Buffalo game was a good game, but even that was a blowout until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And Buffalo were down 17 and then fought back, right? Only to give up a freaking 60-yard touchdown in overtime. So it's like all that work, and it's just tossed out a window in one play. So,
and the QB kind of got hurt, which we'll get into in a second.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The only other game to me was Baltimore Cleveland. But again, Lamar, another QB, ended up getting hurt. So, but I mean, Cleveland or Baltimore was already struggling before he went out, and Cleveland was running away that game. And I don't know if Cleveland just took their foot off the gas and allowed Baltimore to come back. So,
Cleveland's Cleveland, bro.
Yeah, they always go back to being those Browns at some point, right?
Yeah. Let's go do one of my favorite segments, Ray and Benny versus the coin. What happened last week, my friend? How did we do? And what are our matchups this week?
Yeah, you had a pretty good week last week. You went 4-0. Yeah. Solid picks that you had for sure.
Thanks, brother.
Myself, I went 3-1.
Strong.
And then that coin over there, he struggled. And he only went 1-3 this week. So Coin's having a rough time. So total right now, the Coin's only at 3-5. Myself is at 6-2, and you're at a solid 7-1 right now.
Let's go. Ray Benny versus the Coin. So let's get that first matchup going, brother. What do we got?
Yeah, so the first matchup we got the Chargers at home versus the Chiefs. When the coin flips, the coin heads is always for the home team, and tails is always for the visitor team. So, I'm gonna go with the Chargers in this one. Yeah, buddy.
Okay, I'm gonna go with those Chiefs then. Not because they're going with the Chargers. I'm going with the Chiefs, and I'll explain why in a bit. Producer Grammy, what does the coin say?
Ooh. The coin's going with the home team.
Here we go. And the home team is?
The Chargers. So we got two of us
Siding
on
with
the
the coin,
Chargers.
eh, bro?
Yeah,
Siding with the coin. I see.
That might be a bad idea now.
Let me give you my pick for the next game, so I can't mooch off your picks all the time. Because sometimes that's what I do. I pick the opposite of you just in case. So I'll go first this time. I'm going to take, this is Indy Pats matchup. I'm going to take the New England Patriots for the win here.
I am going to have to agree with you there. So I will pick New England as well. Indy's at home this week, but I think still the Pats will take it down.
All right, Coin, what you say? Heads for home, bro. The Coin wants to come back this week.
Yeah, the coin is sticking at home here, eh?
Wow. Who you got in this Denver-Cincinnati matchup, bro?
Yeah, I'm going to go, Cincinnati, they picked up a tough loss against the 49ers. I did pick Cincinnati last week to beat the 49ers. I'm going to pick Cincy again. So let's go with Cincy over the Denver Broncos.
Ooh, I'm going to go out on a limb here and think that the Denver Broncos will run the ball against Cincy. So I'm going to take the Broncos. What you got, Coin?
That run game has been pretty good for Denver so far.
It has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Coin says
home again.
Wow.
So Denver. So you're siding with the Coin on this one, eh?
The Coin sided with me. The Coin sided with me. What do we got in the fourth game, brother?
Well, you go ahead with this one. We got Washington at home versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
This one's hard for me, and I forgot to check if Jalen Hurts is playing. But you know what? It don't matter. I'm going to take this hot Washington defense and my buddy Heineke.
And you know what? I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles just because that Washington D actually put a bunch of guys on COVID today.
I know. See what happened, kids, when you don't prepare enough for Ray and Benny versus the Coin.
There's a lot of COVID guys this week, so it made it tough.
Insider info. Thanks. Yeah. What's the Coin say before I get upset?
So we got went on the road this time, picking the Eagles.
Ray. And I love this segment, man. I love this segment. Folks, and if you want to play along, feel free to comment on who your 4 picks are. And don't worry, Bernard will keep track of all of them, I'm sure. Yeah, bro?
Oh, yeah. I'll do my best.
We just chatted earlier about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson being injured. Those could be some big injuries. Josh Allen, because he's a fairly mobile quarterback, yeah? He likes to move around the pocket, move so he can get second, third, and receivers open. He has a sprained foot, I believe, so that kind of limits his mobility. What are your thoughts on Josh Allen and going against the Patriots now? And you know how the Patriots like to take away your best things, and now they don't have to worry about Josh Allen running, so that might be a big one, bro.
Yeah, it's both of those guys. I mean, that's big injuries for both of those teams, right? Like you say, both of those guys are mobile quarterbacks, and it helps for them to get out of the pocket or when things break down for them to take off and go, right? The one good thing the Bills have is they don't really have a tough schedule over these last 4 games. I think their only tough match is against the Patriots. But they are sitting on the edge of that wild card spot. So any loss, besides maybe that Patriots game, is going to hurt them, right? So they'll definitely need Josh Allen. Same with Baltimore, right? They were in first, no problem. A couple weeks ago, they've lost a couple in a row here, and they have a tough schedule to close out. They got Green Bay this weekend, and they had tough games all the way through. So, and I think they still play the Rams as one of them. So they're in bigger trouble than the Bills if Lamar's out. But those are 2 big injuries to those 2 teams that are fighting for playoff spots.
Yeah, I think kind of the reverse. I think just because of what Baltimore's been through this year, and actually Huntley looked pretty good on his feet, to be honest with you, at the end of the game.
Not bad, actually, yeah.
He looks like he has a bit of skill, and it's not like they have many receivers that they have to bomb the ball down to anyways. So I don't think their game plan is going to change too much, and they've gone through players this year, like their 2 starting running backs are gone. Their all-pro safety is gone. Tackle, I mean. Their corners are gone. So I think in regards to having dealt with injuries, big time. Yeah. I think they're kind of in a position as like, well, we've done this before. Next man up. and they'll grind it out. And I think they're in a little bit better position. And also because they're in the AFC North. What a disaster that division, or competitive, whichever way you look at it. I think with them being in that division, they have a better chance at moving on up and squeezing on through, just in case things do. And they have that great record that they started off with. So I'll go the opposite, man. I'm going to say the Bills are in a little bit more trouble. Oh, sorry. The Ravens are in a little more trouble than the Bills. Right. Let's look at a couple of these matchups coming up. Chiefs and Chargers. And that Chiefs, we talked about that in our Ray and Benny versus the coin, both games here. That Chiefs defense, man, is looking good. It's almost like I'm not worried about the Chiefs offense. The way that they're only allowing like 10 points a game. You remember early in the season when we counted them out? They were like 30 points against them again. So 30-10.
Well, they couldn't stop anyone, right?
Yeah. They're scary.
Chris Jones is out COVID for Thursday, so that takes away.
Why didn't you say that before the Ray and Benny versus the coin? He's hiding info, people, friends and neighbors. Look at this.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I'm not giving you that info. I got to come back. You're up a game on me. I got to figure it out.
Fair enough. I got you.
To me, that's a big loss. And and it was a trade that they did with the Steelers there for Melvin Ingram, allowed Chris Jones to go back to his proper position, and ever since then, the D flipped around and has been playing better, right? So that's a big loss for them, especially the way the Chargers offense can get rolling sometime, right? So the Chiefs offense may need to get on a roll this time and keep that momentum going. They beat up on the Raiders very easily, but can they do it against a better team? But the Chargers may be out without Derwin James as well. He was out last game, so I don't know if he's back for Thursday or not.
Yeah.
So without him, that opens up that passing game for Mahomes quite a bit, right?
Gives Hill a little more, room to move for sure.
Yeah, you're not worried about taking a big hit either.
Yeah. And how about Colts and Pats? You know me, I'm taking the Pats, bro. I've been riding that wagon for a long time, and I ain't getting off anytime soon. I love that defense and that chameleon team. Yeah. It's like they shape shift. It doesn't matter what the other team, the style of the team they play. It doesn't matter what the weather is, running the ball all game. Then they're getting better and better, bro.
And then you gave them a bye. The Pats had a bye here to kind of look and figure out how to stop Jonathan Taylor. Which is a big part of the Indies offense, obviously, right? So if they can figure out how to stop him and make Wentz throw that ball, I think that defense will definitely feast on that. So I agree with you too. I'm heading the Pats way, but this is a big game for the Colts. Like we talked about them the last few weeks, they had some big wins. They beat the Bills, but they ended up losing to Tampa. So we're like, okay, we're not ready to call them a playoff team yet. But if they can pull out a victory here, I think we might have to start looking at them as a playoff team for sure. Contender, I still wouldn't be sure on that or anything like that. But I don't know. I feel like the NFL is steering us towards a New England Tampa Bay Super Bowl, anyways. So we'll see.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
We'll see where that goes.
People. Yeah, I do think it's kind of going that way too. Those teams are kind of pulling away or looking like they're getting their stuff together. Let's move on to another favorite segment of ours, especially yours. You love this one. Yeah. Let's go. Brickhead of the week. Who do you got, brother?
I don't know why I love that word so much, but
you do.
I gotta give props to Brady Kachuk on that one. But I'm gonna give it to John Tortorella for his comments on
my boy
Milano goal. The flip behind the net, over the net, and the baseball swat the puck out of the net puck into the net for a goal. Great theater, man. It's like, okay, it's the NHL. Usually it's, dump the puck in and slow it down and cycle and then score possibly. This is a great play. This is it was almost like the alley-oop in basketball. It's exciting. It's like, and then he's got to go and crap on it, saying it's not good for the game. It's too showman. It's like, come on, man. It's, okay. If I start seeing guys do this, yeah, exactly. The old man yelling at the clouds there, freaking, the Simpsons.
Totally. I love that.
Grandpa Simpson, just angry. But this constantly happens, and you see 20 guys a game or 20 plays a game like this, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is stupid. but it's going to be a once in a while kind of thing where you see that opening, and it worked, and they scored, and that should get people talking, especially in the States, right? Let's build the NHL up.
Love that. They love that. And I'm glad you said like the alley-oop, because when the NBA became an above the rim dunking game, a lot of traditionalists were like, oh, what's that? There's no power in the center anymore. There's no proper jump shots anymore. It's like, shut up, old man. Yeah. This game is evolving, and hockey does need that, man. They need to get away from the guard. Yeah. Like, and this is it. Individual talent and skill and showing off. Come on. I agree with you, man. Yeah. Although I love Tortorella. I love that guy.
Yeah. Loves to stir it up, but sometimes he just says the stupidest stuff.
I'm going to give my Brickhead of the week to Chase Claypool. I'm a Steelers fan, and I'm going to take some kind of moment in this show to just on them. So Chase Claypool, your stupidity and you're celebrating and wasting time and wanting to play music. You are the Brickhead of the week. Can I give a little side Brickhead, bro? Side Brickhead?
Yeah, go for it.
Randy Ambrosi and these decision makers who want to get rid of the Rouge and are thinking about 4 downs. I'm going to quote Michael Scott on this. Hey, you idiot, idiot, stop, idiot. Like, come on. We just showed you in the Grey Cup how exciting that is. 3 downs. Rouge, shut up. Brickhead.
Do they really think 4 downs is going to make more people watch the game? You're probably you're going to alienate more fans that are fans of the game right now by adding a 4th down than you'll actually bring in more fans.
Yeah, and it's going to be dinking and dunking on that wide field. It's not big plays. Why are you going to miss the big play? I can run it on first and second and dink it on third. Yeah, first down. So shut up with you fools. Let's talk about happy things. Let's start giving out hot dogs. I can hear that music already. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Eat That Hot Dog, where we salute some of the best in sports this week. I'm going to give the first hot dog to the fans of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the one represented in Hamilton. All of y'all who gather at Porridge in Maine, eat all those hot dogs, enjoy the party, get excited about getting a new banner next year. Look at that, 1-year banner, throw in the trash. We need a new one. Bomber fans, eat that hot dog. Who do you got, brother?
I'm gonna combine mine for 3 different guys that helped build that Bomber team into what they are today. Starting with Wade Miller, down to Kyle Walter, who then went down to Mike O'Shea. Just all great decisions for the most part over the last few seasons. Again, Walter knew they needed a kicker this year when things weren't going good. He went out and got Castillo. O'Shea's got his team playing as a unit, as one unit.
Absolutely.
And they bought into his system and they bought into trusting each other. I just got to say, the one image of the whole thing is Mike O'Shea spraying champagne into the eyes of Andrew Harris. And Andrew Harris spraying the champagne straight into the eyes of Mike O'Shea. It was just like watching that going, how many times do you see a coach just spraying a player in the face like that? And then, it's reciprocated the other way. It's like, I don't know why they handed these Bombers any goggles. I didn't think anyone had them over their eyes. So
it's not the NBA. What do you think?
No,
forget those
NBA,
goggles,
baseball,
man.
Yeah. So my hot dogs out to those 3. Thanks for another great season.
Heck yeah, and I got one more hot dog to give to a Winnipeg connection. Jesse Pollock, what a super fan he is on Bar Downer on TSN. Thanks for being a proud Winnipegger. Thanks for outing and laughing at those fools wearing Leafs jerseys at the West Final and inside the Bombers. Wasn't that great when you called that guy inside the locker room? Like, what the heck are you wearing that for? He made him feel like a dirty man. So
yeah, exactly.
Jesse Pollock, you're getting a hot dog. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to an amazing book that's just coming out, The Untold Stories of Manitoba Indigenous Sport. Go check that book out. It was written by Carrera Lemeru, Scott Taylor, and Janice Forsyth. Such an amazing book talking about athletes, coaches, builders, teams from like 1890 until now. And have like sections on sports and residential schools and the Tom Longboat Award. So please go out there, check that book out. It's important. What a week, Bombers! Back-to-back champions. Benny, what do you got to say to the people?
You know what? I got to point out, we talked about him before, the one Hamilton fan who is drinking some beer out of that replica Grey Cup. You know what? Thanks, buddy. I don't know if you thought the game was over or what, but you jinxed your team. I hope you enjoyed that beer. So, I'd have a good week there, man. And you know what? We're back-to-back champions. I'm going to ride this high for the rest of the week and beyond.
Yes.
and be excited for for the rest of the NHL season, the NFL season, and can't wait for the CFL season to be back.
So does that guy get a brickhead or would he get a hot dog?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a toss-up, right?
Yeah, we'll give him both.
Hamilton fans would probably give him the brickhead. We should probably be giving him the hot dog.
Let's give him a hot dog bun with a brickhead.
There you go.
Mail it out to him. Thanks, producer Grammy. And to steal a quote from Dave Ritchie, we're going to the top of the mountain. We're going to play polo with the King's Head and drink the good water. Bombers, CFL, Grey Cup champions again. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports, and check out our YouTube channel, Ray and Benny Talk Sports. Go subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think.